Hello everyone and welcome to the final module, Module 8, Rewiring Your Business Approach. But before I go into this week's module, I wanted to just review some things about Module 7, which was about collaborations and partnerships. It's clear that a lot of you have recognized and realized that partnerships are essential to addressing systemic changes. So those things which one company is not able to solve requires partnerships with other companies, with NGOs, with government, or with other partners. And we've seen some really interesting examples on the posts on the forum. So that's been great. It's been very interesting reading this week. We did last Saturday. We had a live session, and unfortunately, something went wrong with the live session recording. And I know that some of you wanted to refer back to that, so I just wanted to highlight a couple of the things that came up there, or some of the questions that were raised. The first question was about system challenges and what that actually means. And indeed, as you've learned in this module, it's those things which one single company is not able to address, or one that actually there are elements of how the system is designed or how the system exists, which requires an integrated approach or a multi-stakeholder approach to address these challenges. So I hope that has become clear as you've gone through the modules and read each other's posts on the forums. And yeah, the second question was about the difference between CSR and sustainability. That's quite a difficult question because CSR and sustainability means very different things to different organizations. And it's presented in different ways, so there's not one fixed definition. CSR is obviously about the business aspect, whereas sustainability can be about business, but also about other players. You can talk about individual sustainability or governmental sustainability, whereas CSR, corporate social responsibility, is about corporations, and usually about larger corporations as it's applied. In general, and this is again speaking just in general terms, sustainability tends to take a more holistic approach about for businesses, about what their role is within the bigger picture and how you create sustainability, not just in terms of being economically being able to make enough profit to continue or being able to sustain itself economically, but also looking at the environmental and social impacts. So those are, I guess, some of the basic differences. CSR is also sometimes limited to just the social component, whereas the environmental component may or may not be addressed. But in any case, they're both useful terms, but they're also challenging terms because they do have so many different definitions and different ways of presenting things. So the next question, the final question we had on the live session was about continuing the sustainability leadership or learning journey. So yeah, that's an important one because being a sustainability leader in an organization where that's not core to their business can sometimes be quite a lonely place. So you need to think about how you can sustain yourself and your ambition and your drive to continue to press for sustainable change. One of the things that I found useful when I was working in corporations was forming a community of practice with like-minded organizations. So that's something which you may want to think about. There's a lot of continued reading and engaging in sector-specific working groups, which is of course also an interesting thing you can do, particularly if you think about the point we raised earlier about in this module about the importance of partnerships. You may want to get involved in an organization that works on a sectoral level. It's now so that the field of sustainability has broadened so much that you could go on and study forever on one specific aspect of sustainability, whether it's supply chains or cities or many other different aspects. So yeah, you may want to look also at some of the LinkedIn groups that exist. If you're looking at more formal education, you could think about the live courses at the University of Cambridge CISL, or actually they're blended learning with a component of online learning and then sessions where you get together in Cambridge. There are postgraduate certificates on leadership and also supply chains, as well as a postgraduate diploma and a Master's of Studies in Sustainability Leadership. And there have been a number of people from the online course who've gone on to do a degree course at Cambridge, and they found that to be useful grounding for starting point for their studies. So we do encourage you to do that. If you're not looking to do a complete degree course, master's degree course, or postgraduate diploma or certificate, something else you may want to consider is one of the 4-day intensive courses that University of Cambridge CISL offers on for sustainability practitioners. This is offered twice a year in South Africa. Elsbeth, the other tutor on this course, heads up that program, and the course is also offered in Australia. It's a 4-day course that is quite intensive, and we've had a number of graduates from the online course who found it very useful to continue with the face-to-face intensive course. There is a little bit of overlap in terms of content, but the interaction is quite different, and people have found that to be quite useful. So I hope those suggestions help. Just to continue now, moving on to this current module, Module 8, which is about how you're going to put it all into practice. So as I said, the name of the module is Rewiring Your Business Approach. And what we're looking at is how you take everything you've learned so far during this course, and how are you going to apply that in your own situation. So we're going back to the original ongoing project, the one you used for modules 1, 2, and 3. So looking at either your own company or the company you've chosen to explore for that project, and looking at what is your role as a change agent. So given that you will need help with this change process, it's also important to engage allies and create buy-in within your organization. And those are some of the things that are looked at in this module. An important point, this assignment is worth 40% of your final mark on the course. So that's for those of you who've been struggling, it's an opportunity to come back and pass the course by performing really well on this process. But keep in mind that that you make sure you invest enough time in this writing this assignment that you will be able to do well on it. Again, I'm repeating myself in terms of some of the tips, but I would say the most important thing, if I look at assignments that I have not done very well, generally I would urge people to read the instructions very carefully and the rubric, and then reread it again before you actually start working. And then once you have a first draft for the assignment, go back and read the instructions and rubric again to make sure that you have not gotten off track. Also remember to reference using the Harvard system and be as specific and concise as possible. So these are things you've all heard before, but I think if you try and address these, then particularly some of the students who are struggling, that this will probably help you to get a better mark. One last thing I wanted to mention is that participation in the small group discussion forums has waned a little bit in the past module. This is understandable given a lot of the demand that the reading and the assignments have taken. But keep in mind that participation in the small group forums does count towards your final mark on the course, and it would be a shame to lose points on this by not participating at all. So even just a short post is important, just to make sure that you don't lose points on your final mark. So, okay, with that, I will leave you this week and wish you all the best for the assignment. Again, keep in mind there is a forum specifically for questions you have about the assignment. So please, if you're uncertain about something, then do contact Elsbeth or me with your questions, and we'll try and help you out any way we can. Best of luck to you, and then I'll be back with you next week with the final wrap-up video. Okay, good luck. Bye.